You think you know Jason Statham, right? The unbreakable, stone-faced badass who can punch through steel, drive through fire, and still walk away without a scratch. But what if I told you the man who built his entire career on being untouchable is now facing something no stunt double can fix? Yeah, buckle up, because what's happening behind the scenes of Jason Statham's life makes Crank look like a bedtime story. At 58, the so-called iron soul of Hollywood may finally be cracking. And trust me, it's not from a broken bone, it's from something much darker. You've seen him fight sharks, villains, and the laws of physics. But what if the real battle isn't on screen at all? What if Jason's biggest fight is against the very empire he helped build, the billion-dollar machine of fame, betrayal, and silence? Sources say Hollywood's toughest man is hiding a truth that could end everything. But how did a street hustler from Shirebrook turn into the center of the biggest scandal the action world has ever seen? And why is nobody talking about it? Stay tuned, because what we found will change how you see Jason Statham forever. It all began quietly, far from the flashing cameras and the perfectly edited trailers, deep within the chaotic world of a film set where the man known for never losing control reportedly lost it for the first time. Jason Statham, the one who has built an empire on precision, silence, and strength, found himself surrounded by rumors that refused to stay in the shadows. According to multiple unnamed sources who claim to have been there, everything started during the filming of his latest high-budget action film, a project meant to cement his legacy as the ultimate action icon. The crew said tension began to rise when Statham questioned the new script rewrites that allegedly made his character look weaker, less intelligent, and more emotionally vulnerable. He fought back against the changes, arguing that they destroyed the essence of what made the character real. But the producers, chasing trends and social commentary, refused to back down. Witnesses described shouting behind closed doors, broken props, and a moment when Statham reportedly walked off set, disappearing for hours while the crew waited in uneasy silence. No one could confirm where he went, but when he returned, his expression was cold, distant, and final, as if something inside him had shut down. Days later, a mysterious leak hit the internet. Screenshots of private messages, allegedly between Jason and one of the executive producers, surfaced on a film forum. The messages hinted at power struggles, creative sabotage, and personal threats. One line that went viral read, "If you cross me again, I'll make sure your name burns before the credits roll." People speculated whether it was real or edited, but the timing was too perfect to ignore. The studio tried to control the fire, releasing a bland statement about creative differences and schedule conflicts, but fans were not buying it. More anonymous posts started appearing online, claiming that Jason had discovered financial irregularities within the production budget. One supposed insider even wrote that a portion of the stunt department's budget had been redirected toward executive bonuses, leaving the crew overworked and underpaid. And here was the irony: the man famous for doing his own stunts was allegedly standing up for the stuntmen who couldn't afford to speak out. That was when the story stopped being about a script and started being about survival. Paparazzi caught him arriving at meetings with legal teams, avoiding questions, his face expressionless but his eyes showing something between exhaustion and quiet rage. His friends reportedly tried to reach him, but he withdrew from everyone. A tabloid claimed he was under industry lockdown, meaning the studio had silenced him with a contract clause preventing public comment. But then came another twist, a video clip that appeared for only an hour before vanishing from social media. It showed a man, his face blurred, claiming to be part of Jason's inner circle, saying, "They're trying to erase him from his own film." Within minutes, the clip was deleted, accounts suspended, and hashtags shadow banned, but it was too late. The silence was now louder than ever. The story began twisting in darker ways once the leaks refused to die down and new voices began to appear, each one adding another shadow to Jason Statham's name. Whispers started circulating about a hidden financial web tied to offshore accounts, suspicious transfers, and hush money allegedly paid to keep people quiet. An unnamed production accountant claimed in a voice recording that millions had been siphoned off under fake invoices labeled as equipment rentals. When journalists tried to reach the studio for comment, they got nothing but silence, while Jason's representatives issued a short line saying he had no involvement in any financial irregularities. Still, the internet refused to believe that a man who built his image on discipline and control could be completely innocent. Conspiracy channels ran wild, claiming that Jason had uncovered the fraud himself and was being targeted for speaking out. One video that gained 500,000 views overnight showed supposed leaked call logs between Jason and the producers, suggesting late-night meetings and secret threats. Whether real or not, the timing was perfect to keep the controversy alive, and soon Jason's name was trending again, only this time the tone was darker and angrier. Crowds began to gather outside the studio gates. Not fans asking for autographs, but protesters holding signs accusing the company of corruption. On social media, hashtags urging support for Jason appeared alongside others demanding an investigation into his role in the alleged scandal. Reporters swarmed his home in Beverly Hills, shouting questions that he never answered. Those who saw him said he looked thinner, quieter, a man trying to hold himself together while everything he built was collapsing in slow motion. Then came another blow. A so-called whistleblower from inside the production claimed that Jason had secretly recorded conversations with top executives, conversations that revealed how profits were being redirected into private accounts. The whistleblower insisted that Jason had refused to go along with the cover-up and that the studio was now trying to smear him before he could go public. Within hours, gossip sites posted screenshots of what they claimed were transcripts from those recordings, filled with lines like "keep him quiet and he'll sign if we corner him." The authenticity was impossible to prove, but the effect was immediate. The media painted him as both a victim and a villain. Talk shows debated whether Jason was a brave whistleblower or a fallen hero trying to save himself. Fans split into factions, some defending him as the last honest man in Hollywood, others convinced he had finally cracked under pressure. Sponsors began quietly withdrawing. Brand contracts frozen pending clarity. Behind all this noise, a strange pattern emerged. People close to Jason started disappearing from public view. His longtime stunt coordinator stopped taking calls. His manager resigned without explanation. And a British journalist who claimed to have documents that would blow everything open suddenly posted a final tweet saying, "They got to me first," before vanishing from the platform entirely. The internet began to question what exactly Jason had uncovered, and why everyone connected to it seemed to fall silent at the same time. As the silence thickened, the atmosphere around Jason Statham turned almost cinematic, as if reality itself had started to imitate one of his own thrillers. News outlets claimed law enforcement agencies had begun reviewing documents, though no official investigation was confirmed, while anonymous insiders spoke of private inquiries and internal audits quietly unfolding behind closed doors. Paparazzi followed him everywhere, but Jason no longer reacted, moving through airports and alleys with the calm precision of a man who had seen too much to be surprised by anything. Then, one night, an image surfaced online showing him in London meeting with a retired intelligence officer turned security consultant. Within hours, that image was deleted, and the account that posted it disappeared, leaving only speculation behind. Some claimed Jason was gathering evidence to clear his name, while others insisted he was negotiating his silence. The truth sat somewhere in between, unseen and unconfirmed, feeding the endless cycle of rumor that had now become its own kind of entertainment. Meanwhile, the studio's next project was abruptly postponed, official statements citing unforeseen scheduling adjustments. Yet insiders whispered that investors were pulling out, frightened by the controversy. Reports emerged that several board members had resigned, one even allegedly fleeing the country after being linked to the offshore accounts mentioned in the leaks. Every day brought a new headline more dramatic than the last, and still Jason said nothing. That silence became a weapon, cutting deeper than any denial or confession ever could. Fans began romanticizing it, calling him the last real man in Hollywood, while critics accused him of playing the public like a script. Then came the supposed bombshell, an email leak that hinted at a deal being made, suggesting Jason had agreed to hand over specific evidence in exchange for a clean slate and complete immunity. The email vanished within hours, and the sender's identity was never confirmed. But it was enough to reignite the storm one final time. And then, just as suddenly as it began, everything went quiet. The tabloids moved on, the hashtags faded, and the world's attention shifted to the next scandal waiting to trend. Jason Statham retreated from public view, skipping premieres, interviews, and events, choosing instead the kind of silence that speaks louder than words. Some said he had walked away from Hollywood entirely. Others claimed he was preparing a documentary to expose everything when the time was right. Whatever the truth may be, one thing remained certain. The legend of Jason Statham had changed forever. He was no longer just the man who did his own stunts or survived impossible odds. He had become a mystery, a ghost in a world that could not stop watching, even when there was nothing left to see. So now the question is, what do we really believe? Was Jason Statham the victim of a powerful system that tried to silence him? Or was he the mastermind behind one of Hollywood's most elaborate deceptions? The truth might never surface, and maybe that is what keeps people talking. The silence, the mystery, the unfinished story. It all feels too perfect to be accidental, but one thing is clear. Whatever happened behind those closed doors changed the way people see the man who once seemed untouchable. And maybe that's the real tragedy. Not the money, not the fame, but the loss of trust in the man who built his legacy on loyalty and strength. Now it's your turn to decide. Do you believe Jason is hiding something? Or was he the only one brave enough to stand against a corrupt system? Let me know what you think in the comments, because this story is far from over. If you want to hear more untold truths, secret investigations, and stories Hollywood doesn't want you to hear, make sure to like this video, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next revelation might just change everything you think you know.